and we're live with Paul Calafiore. He's returning to the show. Last time he was on the show was August of last year, and it was right before the newest season of the challenge came out. I think that was the last one that he was on before, he wasn't on there anymore. I'm not entirely sure. Last time you were on, I was supposed to go and watch the challenge. After that, I watched maybe 2 or 3 episodes, and not to say that I don't like it, but I don't know. There was just a lot of personalities on there that were very, there was a lot of friction on there, and I just a lot of times I feel like when I watch negative stuff, I just get negative vibes, and it just puts me in not the best headspace. It is motivating to want to get out there and just grind and I was reading this thing. I don't remember who said it, but it was it was David Goggins. Every day that you're out there training, you got to be ready. You can't be I'm ready to step in 3 to 4 weeks. You got to be ready tomorrow, and you got to stay hungry. And that's something that I see every day on Instagram and whatever else, that you're out there, between your fitness program and just whether it's kicking a soccer ball around or hiking through, Montana or wherever you're at now. You're always staying active. You just told me, we had a little bit of confusion, and I'm like, where the heck is this kid? You're like, my bad, I just got out of yoga. So even more so, and yoga's great too, by the way. So that's awesome that you were doing that. So
this is my first hot yoga class, and that is no joke.
Yeah.
The room was 110 degrees because I'm down here in Arizona right now. So it was just, it was wild, man. But love David Goggins. I love his, how he finishes everything. He was like, stay hard.
Man, if that is my main motivation, between that and honestly, that phrase with your, awake the lion, every night when I'm out there riding my bike, because I go out at night, New York City's too crazy during the day. So I go up to the bridge and I'll ride 15 miles a night, 16 miles a night. And, between listening to music and then just different mentalities, you pick up what you were exposed to for that day. I feel like social media kind of whatever I scrolled past, I always end up seeing because I don't end up participating in your group workouts, but I always see them right before I'm going to do my workout. I'm like, fuck yeah, that gets me hyped up. And even though we're not doing the same workout, I feel like it is still effectively the same thing, because you're giving me that motivation to be go get it, and the whole awake the lion type of thing. It's I just kind of repeat that in my head as I'm going along, because it's anytime that you try to coast or just take it easy, you kind of remind yourself listen, this is that next step to increase that threshold and get yourself that much better with each and every time, leave it all out there. And I feel like that is something I always get out of your content, so
I appreciate that, man. Complacency is the thief of success, so a lot of people, they build themselves up, they can make themselves successful, and then they get complacent, and then they wonder why they're no longer successful, and then they gotta get themselves back up. But if you're consistent and you're never complacent, then that's something you'll never have to worry about. So that's just how I get after every day. I mean, I have my rest days for sure. I was traveling yesterday, so today, I zonked out, took a little nap, but sometimes you need to listen to yourself, listen to your body. And my main thing is, it's as long as you're staying consistent, as long as you make up for, days where you might not be as proactive, you always gotta do it. It's funny. I was actually talking to my buddy Sam, who I'm staying with, and we talk about how because he's heavy into meditation, heavy into breathing techniques and all that stuff, but it's the same concept. Whether it's meditation and breathing, or whether it's working out, or whether it's your work ethic. Some days you're going to go out, you're going to have a terrible workout, but having a terrible workout is still better than having no workout. And he has the same concept with meditation. He's even if you don't have that clear headspace when you meditate, at least you're stopping yourself for however long you're meditating for and you're doing it. And it's the same thing with working, right? So some days you might be like super efficient and you're up at like 4 a.m. and you get so much done and you finish your day at like 8 p.m., you know, and then you just like smoke it. And then there's other days where it's like you're just kind of dragging along, you know, but as long as you're aware of that and you like still get yourself out of bed and you still do some work, like, you know, am I kicking myself in the ass for falling asleep for a little bit? Yeah, for sure. But am I going to make up for it tomorrow? Yeah, 100%. You know, I'll make sure I go to sleep early tonight. And I'll get up and I'll make up for the work that I missed today from sleeping for 2 hours. So it's like you're always going to have to get those hours back somewhere, you know,
Right.
like whether it's like, you know, training or meditation or whether you're like working on something. Like if you plan on doing something on Monday and, you know, you waste 2 or 3 hours, you're going to have to make that up by sacrificing it somewhere else. Otherwise, you're going to like get knocked off your course and you're going to get knocked off of where you want to be.
100%. I always feel that way when, like, you know, my parents live out on Long Island, and like it was Father's Day this past weekend. My parents are like, come stay with us for the weekend, you know, whatever else. And that takes me off of my track right away. I'm like, damn, like I don't want to get out of my routine. You crave it when you even miss it for one day. And like, you're right. It is definitely good to take a break, because my body, like after I'll go like 10, 11 days in a row, my body will be screaming, because it's like, why are you not letting me have any rest? But
Yeah.
it does feel good at the same point to get to that point where you're like, you know, I have gone, you know, I've done this amount of exercise this many days straight, and you start to feel that much better. And it's also, I wanted to bring up too, like not only the way that you exercise, but the way that you eat, and also the way that you kind of treat your mind. Like I like last week you had a Zoom kind of call between just, you know, random people that you are in touch with, and anyone could kind of vent and talk about what was ever on their mind. And I thought it was good, because mental health is half the battle, I feel like, with the whole, you know, staying in a positive, like healthy routine. Not only do you need to exercise, and that definitely helps to clear your head and whatever, but to have like that resource where you can touch base with people, like human interpersonal connections are definitely important, you know?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I feel like because of social media and everything, not many people are actually connecting face to face. You know, and with everything going on, even more so, like there's just no like human interaction and human connection, and a lot of people are like falling down like a negative zone. So for me, I just like to give back to as many people as possible to see like what kind of value I can add to their life and what kind of value I can add to what they're doing. You know, and if I can put a smile on somebody's face, even if it's through like a free Zoom call for like 40 minutes, you know, where people can like vent and people can talk about some things that are going on in their life, then, you know, I don't want to say I've done my job, because, you know, I've got so much further that I want to go, but, you know, I did my good deed for the day, so to speak, you know, and I try to make sure that every day, no matter what I'm doing, whether it's through my posts or like my one-on-one calls or my Zoom calls or anything that I'm doing in life, you know, even if people are watching me compete, I'm trying to impact people's lives in a positive way. So, you know, that's just the overall goal.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that that is just awesome that you have that platform for people to come kind of link up with you, someone who, you know, a lot of people look up to. And then now they're able to kind of get some like positive vibes and feedback, and kind of like get put in the right direction. They trust your input, and it, you know, it felt good to leave that meeting the other day, even though I didn't really share anything, just to kind of be connected with everyone. And I didn't even know them, but I don't know. I left there feeling like I took something away from that in a positive way. And I thought it was cool, you know? So for
I
that,
appreciate that. And thanks
yeah,
for
of course.
joining.
What was that?
I said, and thanks for joining.
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, thanks for putting that on. You know, I think that a lot of us need that type of, well, pretty much everyone needs that type of, human connection type of situation. We don't all have that kind of same base as everyone else does, So,
Yeah.
you kind of see it through situations like that. But talking about kind of, a healthy lifestyle as well. Last time you were on, we were talking about the fact that you don't really play soccer anymore. You still like play recreationally, but not at the high competitive level that you used to. Now you still do, the challenge. I know you're not on it now, but you recently were on the challenge and, in the previous years, Big Brother. So you're still obviously active on a regular basis. And I saw a post that you put up on Instagram the other day talking about how you're going to be going in for some stem cell surgery, like treatment.
Yeah. Well, I already got the treatment.
Okay.
It's not a surgery. It's non-invasive. It's basically taking your own blood, mixing it with stem cells, and just injecting it back in your body and letting the stem cells just do the work. So it's really a next level style treatment. But through all the years of like competitive athletics, just ripping my body to shreds, I was sitting there at like 31 years old, and I was like, what am I going to do? Because I still have so much more to give, and I still have so much more that I can do with my body. But I didn't know how I was going to do it. And, I was going into like rehab every single day, like getting my body, dry needling, chiropractor, deep tissue massages, like constantly aligning myself. And, all it would take is like one hard workout just to throw everything off the line and, have me be walking around in pain like a cripple. For the first like 3 hours of the day, I felt like I was like 70, 80 years old, which is like, I was like, how am I gonna do anything like when I need to? Like my body's gonna need me, or I'm gonna need my body. So thankfully, this guy, like I've been studying stem cells for like a long time now. And I always knew that eventually they were going to have a breakthrough, and it was only a matter of when and like how old was I going to be, like when it happened. And it finally reached a point where like it was a breakthrough in the country, and then it was just about finding the right person that can do it. And finding Dr. Adam was kind of like a blessing because I had talked to a lot of my friends who had gotten stem cell, and they put a couple people forward. In Georgia, in Colorado, in Ohio, in Pennsylvania. And, I finally settled on Dr. Adam in Kansas City, and it was just an amazing experience from the start. And I'm only like a month out from the procedure, and it's night and day. I mean, the stuff that I could do with my body now, like, my body's starting to feel like it did when I was in my 20s, which is like a scary thing because I was a monster when I was in my 20s. So it's like, and apparently like in 2 more months is when it's supposed to like hit its peak of healing. So I don't even know where I'm going to be in like 2 more months from now. So now it's just a matter of making sure I'm doing all the right things, discipline wise, to make sure that I don't mess anything up, because like my body is really feeling great. And it would be very tempting to just go and be like, you know what, let me just do 500-pound squat. Let me go run, a half marathon. Let me go play in like soccer matches for fun, and all that stuff. But taking the time now to like discipline myself, where it's like, yes, I'm training, but it's like today I'm doing hot yoga. I work on a lot of flexibility and mobility stuff. I'm doing a lot of the little basic things that are going to strengthen everything up, that are going to make this procedure 10 times more effective. And you know what, like I'm really at a point where like it's a no fuck around zone. Like I've got like a lot of them, like amazing things coming up that I'm going to be competing for, and that I'm going to be like trying out for. And, the main goal is to pull that off. Like if I go back to the challenge or Big Brother, amazing. That's cool. But like, I'm talking about like real shit outside of this, where like if I pull this off and make it, like my life is going to change forever. So that's what I'm like focused on right now, and that's like what I'm training for, and that's what I'm pushing for. And building up all this extra stuff, this fitness stuff, is to just kind of show people like, hey, no excuses, like you can do whatever you want.
Well, and that was my lead in into the Big Brother challenge type of conversation. But before we get to that, so you're what, 31, right?
31.
Um, yeah. So I mean, say this takes another 6 months to a year, you know, and you're, completely 100%. Does that say that you could technically get back into like maybe competitive soccer or something like that, or is that not something that you're looking to do?
Yeah, no, that's exactly what it says. You
Okay.
know, like something that has never really been done because like once your career is over, it's over. But I'm definitely looking to push the envelope and make some noise because like a lot of my friends, they're still playing, and they're still playing at a high level. And it's like riding a bike. Like you don't lose it, And if my technique is still what it was, but now I'm older, wiser to the game, and now if all of a sudden my body's back to what it was, like feeling like how it was in my 20s, there's no reason why I shouldn't be able to maybe make a professional team again at my
Right, right,
age.
right. Yeah, no, definitely. And that's exactly what I was thinking. I feel like with all the constant activity and exercise and the fact that, I know some people would say, 31, 32 is older for some sports, but in my eyes, I feel like you're still at your said prime, especially after all of this kind of treatment and whatnot, whatever you want to call it. I don't know if it's called treatment,
Yeah.
but
Well, I mean, it's
yeah,
it's like all that. So it's like with my career ending when I was 23, and then I contemplated a comeback when I was 27. You know, right after I got off of Big Brother, I contemplated making a comeback because once again I was feeling like I was in the best shape of my life. I was playing. I was playing in the third division. Professionally, like just kind of for fun, and I was scoring goals left and right. I was in better shape than I was when I was in college. My technique, my decision making, everything was like next level. And then I was playing in a meaningless game, and some guy like just didn't like me from my past, and
right.
he just had a dirty slide tackle. Like the ball wasn't even near me, completely blew out my ankle, and then that was the end of the comeback, or so I thought. And then going and doing like all these challenges, I never really rehabbed my body, and so I've kind of been like limping along. So like everything everybody's seen on TV is like me doing things at like an injured self. So like tons of injuries, and I'm not talking about just one. I'm talking like ankles, knees, hips, lower back, shoulders. So having all this time off has kind of been like a blessing in disguise because I've been able to rehab my body. I've been able to get this treatment and really build myself back the right way. And, now it's like the sky's the limit. Like I can totally see myself, making a professional team. And
Yeah, man.
I'll leave it at that.
Definitely. And I mean, again, we can move on after what I say, but as far as seeing your consistent activity, and I even saw something, I think that you said like you had moved up a couple of weight classes, but you were still shredded in that sense. Like that's something that's hard to do, but like, when you do it the right way, it's like perfectly executed because, that's when you're gaining weight, it's like, and you putting on for gains per se,
Right.
you have to take in that additional calorie flow and everything else, the macros and whatnot. But
It's hard.
but you're exerting all that additional energy and hitting the gym with the weights and the hikes and all this stuff that definitely adds to it. But one thing I asked you for this tonight was for the Big Brother All Stars second. It's what's rumored right now. I mean, it's pretty solid rumors. And people, Big Brother super fans are talking about it constantly. and I'm reading about it on Facebook and whatever else. So we don't have a whole lot of time to talk about it. But one thing I wanted to say was, no one's really saying it. I don't know if they were talking about it to you. You're not really rumored that much, but you're really in that pool of recent players that, won events, players that are athletic and have that potential to come back. And I feel like for you, you're someone who wouldn't really put that out there anyway. A lot of those, like, Josh Martinez, he opened his mouth right away and put out something that he was hanging out there, and everyone right away jumped on the fact that he is probably going to be on the next one. In addition to your buddy Paul Abraham, I don't even know how to say his last name, but
right.
But before I was just doing some research before we started earlier, and I was reading some tweets from Evil Dick, who's like the Big Brother tell all on Twitter, and apparently Paul is being accused of statutory rape on a 16-year-old, and now he's probably not going to be on the show.
Wait, is he really?
Yeah. So the thing is, I think he's 24, 25. When he was 19, he apparently had relations with a 16-year-old, which in our generation, if it's a girl that's 3 years older and she's not 16, it's not so bad. If you're 21 and she's 18, I guess whatever. But because it fell in that bad, frame of, you're with a 16-year-old, it's not so ethical. And so that came out, and that's something that's being blown up on Twitter right now. So it just recently came out in the last 24 hours, so it's still developing.
I was gonna say I didn't even see anything like that. I don't follow him. Yeah, I don't get too involved in the Big Brother fandom Twitter. If there's one thing I can't stand, is all these Big Brother people who constantly comment on every fucking thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just be positive. You know what I mean? Be a positive influence. Stop commenting on things just to be relevant. The only time I'm ever tweeting about a show is when I'm on the challenge and I have to tweet about the show. You know what I mean?
Right.
This whole season, I'm not on this new season, and I've maybe tweeted two things about it, and one was shouting out all the new CBS rookies, which I kind of take pride in that, because it's I kind of feel like I opened the door for all the CBS people to kind of come in there and dominate.
Right.
If it wasn't for Natalie, Devon, myself, Jose, we were the pioneers that kicked the door open and being yo, Big Brother people can A, play the game, B, have a social game, C, be fierce competitors, and D, be characters.
Right.
So being able to watch all these CBS people come on from The Amazing Race and Survivor, and even new Big Brother people, I'm kind of sitting back a proud Big Brother.
Yeah.
In a sense, watching
it.
And then the only other time I tweeted something was just saying that nobody has personality, because everybody's just following the crowd like a bunch of sheep, which is it. But I didn't single people out and name them by name, because I feel like too many people, they jump on the train. If somebody's being hated, everybody's going to tweet nasty things about that person in order to get praise. If somebody's
100%.
being loved, everybody's going to tweet nice things about that person in order to get love. And I think that is the fakest shit in the world. When these past castmates or other reality people try and get involved in shit, it's just shut the fuck up.
No, I agree.
It's the most disrespectful thing, because it's they'll be the first person to play victim and cry when they're getting hated and be but I'm a good person. But then the second that it's somebody else, they pile on. And to me, you're a piece of shit if you do that. And everybody does that. And I don't even know the situation that's going on with Paul, but I would trust that the network does the right thing. I'm not going to comment on it, because, everybody knows where I stand when it comes to women's rights and all that and all this shit. And I'm very, very I've raised a lot of money for like rain and everything. And if that shit is true, then that's not fucking cool. But I'm not going to be one of the people that piles on, even though him and I don't see eye to eye, and I definitely don't like the kid. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not one to pile on, even if I don't like you.
No, and I completely got that out of our last conversation, the last time you were on. I only brought that up to say because he was a top rumored person to be back on. He finished second twice, and so he
had to put him on.
Regardless if you or I don't necessarily like him, he is considered a fan favorite to most guests. Sorry, I had a pop up on my laptop. I had to see what was going on. He is a fan favorite, so in that sense, like, I wasn't surprised that he was going to be coming back. Josh caused a lot of drama, but I didn't bring up the fandom for that. The last time I actually had you on, I told you afterwards. I posted our interview in the Big Brother Reddit page. I got tons of hate and people, blew up on me for no reason. I'm not sure why I got so much hate, but in my own sense, I was grateful that you came on the show. And
you better post this one right in there.
Oh no, 100%.
Back down from the heat, baby.
I honestly, you know what? I learned that, but my point was I kind of stepped away from the whole fandom thing altogether because of all of the negativity. And you're right, like, stand up to the haters, whatever else. But because we have the Big Brother 2 All-Stars, and I know you said in the last one too, and so have I, we have watched basically every season of Big Brother. One thing I wanted to say before we talk more about the All-Stars was over the quarantine, I've been watching every season again just because I was bored. And I started with the first season, and man, it is so hard to watch because it's so different than any other season. It's impossibly hard to watch, and there's about 3 times more episodes than they record every single day in its full as an episode, as opposed to like over the course of like 3 days.
Oh,
so
wow.
It was like, and by the time I got to like the 5th or 6th episode, I was like, all right, screw this. I can't even watch this. But after that, season 2 is great. There was another drama-filled thing I'll just drop in quick. You might have heard of Mike Boogie threatened Will's family. Chilltown is no longer a thing. He like pointed a gun at a picture of his family and sent it to Will and said like, because apparently they were originally rumored to be on that Amazing Race with the Big Brother, Survivor, and Amazing Race people, the one with like Janelle and like all like the random people that were just on like last season, I think it was.
Right.
But apparently Will backed out, and it pissed Boogie off because that was going to be his chance to get back on TV. And basically, as a result, he's been pissed ever since. And he was also rumored to come back for Big Brother All-Stars too, but once that came out, they were like, they cut that right off. He's not going to be back. But I don't mean to bring up negative vibes. I'm just kind of, as a fan. I don't
understand people like, I just don't understand that. You know what I mean? Like taking it too far. But, now would be a good time to reiterate the fact that the Hitmen are the best alliance that have ever been on Big Brother. And I think we could finally put the Chilltown stuff to rest because, they were great for sure and, like, definitely go down as, like, top 2 without a doubt. But to do what they did then versus to do what, like, Cody and Derek did later on in the game when, like, everybody has watched Big Brother, it's just night and day.
Also, Cody and Derek did it over the course of one season, whereas Chilltown in the season 2, Mike Boogie got voted out like 3rd or 4th, so they didn't make it to the end together. They were cut off early. But basically, that season was great. The first All-Stars with like a bunch of season 6 people. I liked all. There was a lot of drama and there was just a lot of like good old school players. And that's what I was hoping for with this new All-Stars, is that they would bring back some of the old school. I don't know if you're a Survivor guy at all, but they just recently had season 40 Winners at War. And it was awesome. I've watched every season to see some of like the people like Ethan from season friggin' 3
Right.
And like there's just all the winners, like something about the nostalgia of like the old school reality TV brings me back to being a kid. And I look forward to this season because you just brought up the Hitmen. Derek is a big rumored guest for this season. I mean, in my opinion, he's one of my favorites of all time. Now, he's also being rumored with Dan Giesling, who's another winner. He won season 10, and he's another like player who's considered basically one of the best of all time. And I feel like the two of them together under the same, Big Brother house, it's going to be wild because the two of them are so methodical that, you put them together. I don't know if Cody will be, in on that. That would be amazing to see a couple of different generations of Big Brother alliances put into the house together, to test out who is really, if we had Derek and Cody back and then, Jack and Jackson and, just random people pairs over the years. But there's a lot of speculation. I was watching the Johnny Fairplay podcast with Mike Boogie, and they were talking about possibly doing like siblings return, like Vanessa and her sister, or you and Cody going back together. And I was like, man, you get Paulie and Cody back together. I mean, not that you guys played together, but you put the two of you guys together in the same house, and I think that would be a very interesting season for sure.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. I mean, speculation. Who's going to get the Calafiore brothers on the same show first? Is it going to be CBS or MTV? Who wants that kind of TV gold on their network? Both of us being able to play and work together. So we'll see. It'll be interesting.
Yeah. Anybody you might want on there? I'm not saying do you know any information, but is there any players over time that you think maybe deserve a chance back in there or whatever? I know a couple that are actually, like I said, two confirmed people basically from a CBS associate said that Davon and Swaggy C are the two, like basically 100% confirmed people right now. Now, Davon put out a tweet that said she's not going to be there, but apparently she did that before BB18 also. So no one believes her. But who do you want to see in there, if anybody?
I mean, I kind of feel like there was, like the All-Stars that like happened, prior to this one, like if it is All-Stars, I wouldn't take anybody before season 16 unless you're going to have like a Dan Giesling.
That's exactly why I want them to do the before season 16 though, because you can't exclude people like that who didn't get a chance at the first All-Stars and are that caliber player.
Yeah, but I'm saying like you could sprinkle in like maybe 2 or 3 of those people, like bring a Janelle.
Janelle is a top rumor right now, and I'm praying that she comes back.
Yeah, like she's a beast. Like I'd love to see Kemi from this past season get another shot at things. I think Davon's TV gold, and so is Swaggy. So I think they would provide a lot of entertainment for sure. And since they've both been on the challenge, I think that would be a cool dynamic to see, like if they could work together. And then but look at all the seasons since season 16. Like there's a lot of beastly competitors and game players. You know what I mean? Like from season 16 alone, you could have, Derek, Cody, Caleb, Frankie, Nicole.
I think Nicole's done. I honestly am not as. I know that you're friendly with her. I feel like she's between she was on Amazing Race again, and she got 2 shots at Big Brother, and she won one of them. And really, I don't know if she necessarily deserved her win, but That's just my opinion. But I would love to see the rest of them that you just named. Season 16 has such a high level. Like if they got like the rep that season 6 did, where you took a big amount of players from one season like that, that would be awesome. Caleb definitely deserves to come back. The dude's a beast.
Yeah.
Frankie's a top rumor. Derek is supposed to be coming back, and I would love to see Cody come back. You know, that would be fucking awesome.
Yeah, it'd be interesting, you know. And then like season 17, you know, and I'm not going to put Devon in 17. I'll put her in 18 because, you know, that was, you know, she did much better that season.
Exactly.
You know, season 17, there was nobody that really stood out to me as like a, you know, good game player. Season 18, you know, then it's like you got, once again, it's stacked. You know, you got like Natalie, phenomenal game player. Devon, phenomenal, you know, game player. You know, Nicole was there, so it's like, you know, but I already used her for 16. You know, you got
Victor.
myself, Victor, Paul, in terms of like comp beast. Corey, you know, came in towards the end as a comp beast. You know, even oh my God, I mean, I wish Vanessa didn't just. Oh wait, that's from 17. Vanessa, standout. I think she's one of the top 5 players of all time.
Definitely.
Vanessa. And I think if she didn't just have kids, I think it would be awesome to see her back because she pulled off things that were, you know, that were amazing. Like you know, you can't talk about great Big Brother players and not have Vanessa as like a top 5. And it'd be very interesting to see her go back and play because I think she would probably outplay like most of the, you know, really good you know, players like a Dan Giesler. You know what I mean? Like I think she's just as dangerous, if not more dangerous. You know, I completely forgot her, but I'd love to see her back. Big Brother 19 was all right. You know, I mean, like Jess and Cody were standouts for me.
Jess is pregnant, so she won't be
Jess
back.
is pregnant, so that's not going to happen. You know, and then you know, Cody. I don't think Cody would go back. You know, but it'd be interesting to see him in there again because you know he's TV gold too, and he's like super intelligent.
I'm going to say that he's at 50% that he might go, but he also might not due to the fact that he's a loyal, you know, other half to his wife, you know. So I don't see him going completely, but yeah, they would be great.
I mean, Big Brother 20 is another one that has like just a handful of talent, you know, between like Casey, you know, and then you got like Fessy, you got Tyler, you have. You know, Haley would be like something like if Fessy and Haley went back together, like that's, you know, it's a dangerous dynamic. But you know, Tyler and Casey, they probably go down as like one of the most beastly duos of all time as well. Yep. You know, like they were passing back and forth comp wins. Casey has the most comp wins ever. I think of any Big Brother player in history, Casey has the most, which is unreal. You know, and then, you know, Big Brother 21, I didn't really watch too much of it. You know, for a lot of the slack that it got for, you know, a lot of the wrong reasons, there still were some great players, you know, that came out of it. I would just love to see Kemi come back because she's a character. And you know, if rumors are true of like Devon and Swaggy going back, I would love to see the dynamic of those 3 because I think they'd be able to possibly run the game.
Yeah.
You know, and I think, you know, any players that would be going on there, you know, would be very wise to just kind of like lay low and, you know, see things play out, you know, and not start to make moves until after the halfway point of the season. I mean, anybody going into this season, like trying to play too hard, too fast, they're going to go. Like, you know, and if it is All-Stars and there's a lot of big names coming back, you know, whoever lays low, makes the least amount of noise, and then starts pulling through at the halfway point winning comps, that's you know, that's who's going to win.
I think that even someone who like me who hasn't played Big Brother but just has watched every season, maybe I'm just used to the edits, but I think that what you just said is like basically the strategy that like is basically the one that gets you through. Now I know it's dependent on the people that you're given, but basically a lot of the people that end up going out early are just annoying to other people in the house, and then it
Or they're
seems
just
like
trying
they
to make too many moves. They make too many alliance members and all that stuff.
exactly well, but it seems like it's almost frowned upon about like going after like a Paulie week one because how dare you go for like the most like competitive person in the house, because he wasn't strategizing. You know what
No,
I mean? But
you gotta take big shots. Like, I
that's
mean, you have to.
that's exactly why I feel like the whole Big Brother 19 was a pretty good season because you had Paul versus Cody in that sense, and it was all about who was going to take the big shot, and that's why that season for me was exciting.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been exciting if they didn't give him immunity for 3 weeks and friendship bracelets to create an alliance. Like,
Well, but
to me that's not. That's what made me turn off the season. It's because
right,
it's like
right,
I would have liked to watch, to see if Paul could have gotten himself out of it. But it's like, week 3, Cody wins, puts him up, and all of a sudden it's like, hey, I can't get eliminated. And then Cody would have been gone forever if he didn't
right.
win himself back into the house. And then that's what made that back and forth exciting. But like, it would have been lights out. Like Paul would have been gone like week 3.
You know
if he
what?
didn't have that.
Before I really thought out what I was, hinting at, I was just meaning more as like the setup for a good season, not the
Oh, yeah.
actual result of it. But
Right.
you're right. You're right. Like with the twist, it seems like a lot of times that also alters like a strategy because, obviously you can't just go in and the whole expect the unexpected thing. But from someone who hasn't been on the show, and I was just reading something else beforehand, they're like, would you still willingly like sign up to be on Big Brother if they told you that there was a predetermined winner and all this stuff? And like people are like, that can't be true. Like, why would Paul go on twice just to lose twice? And I
See,
thought that was
because
actually really fun.
Big Brother is controlled by the gaming commission, so it's they got to do everything by the books. The only thing that Big Brother can do, is try and play with your mind in the interviews. But like they can't directly tell you something. They can just kind of be like, "Are you sure you can trust this person?" And they can like put the hint of doubt in you to try and get you to make a shocking move. But as far as everything else goes, like it's controlled by the gaming commission. Like now they can definitely try and sway and manipulate people. Like I said,
Right,
producers can do that, and even that roundtable discussion with Dr. Will, that is set up to kind of put that last spin on like who should possibly win. So like that's how you know that's how it works. You know what I
right.
mean?
Yeah,
So like it's one of those things where and I can't give away too much because now CBS owns Viacom, so Viacom is my house with
MTV. No, I
MTV.
know.
So
100%.
but they play it by the books, without a doubt.
Right.
It's just one of those things where you have to mentally stick to your convictions. So you got to know when you go into the diary room, like you're 100% going to do that, and it's just the producer doing their job of seeing your natural reaction. Like, do you think you can trust this person 100%? And if you start to doubt that,
Yeah.
then you're going to like stab your best friend in the back by accident,
Right. Right. Yeah. No, you know what? Again, I think I said it on the last show and I'll say it again. Like, I can't really say, for certain anything because I haven't really experienced it like you have. And I think in that sense, like, there's that separation between just being a viewer and then being like, a former, house guest. You have that additional perspective and what goes into it behind the scenes and whatever else. And again, I'm not asking for, inside information or anything like that. Definitely not. Just more or less strategy wise. I think that, people kind of go in with their own predetermined kind of game plan based on what they think. And I think in my sense, if I'm someone like you going into a Big Brother All-Star season, I'm going to lay low and, maybe get into an alliance early that doesn't, make a big stink, but is just kind of confirmed on the votes that just locks it down. That usually seems like it's legit at the beginning, but then someone always loses their shit and then flips. And then it's like, but from the start, it sounds good. And, I'm excited to see what comes about from that. And I know that you haven't said anything about being on it, but, one can only hope that you surprise us at the last minute and are on there. But I think you would have been quarantined by this point, somewhere in Mexico or some shit.
You never know. You never know. There's a lot of things that they can do. There's a lot of things they can do off-site nowadays. I may not even be in Arizona. But I mean, if I were to go back, I'd 100% win.
There you go. And that's the attitude that you got to have. You can't, doubt yourself, because I feel like that definitely is going to affect your headspace going into it. It's a long time in there, so it's not something that you can just get through in 39 days like Survivor. You got a couple of months in there, so
yeah,
definitely
for sure. No, Big Brother is definitely one of the hardest mental things you can do.
Yeah. What do you think is tougher, the challenge or Big Brother?
I mean, the challenge is definitely tougher physically, with all that stuff. But mentally, the Big Brother is way harder. You're just locked away for way longer. It's a different style of game.
Right.
Different demands. I mean, but as you can see, like, not every Big Brother player can transition into the challenge world. But I can say this after spending time with challengers, that there is zero challengers, not one single challenger that would be able to transition to the Big Brother world.
Wow.
None of them. None of the challengers would last 2 weeks in the Big Brother house. But Big Brother players can 100% transfer to the challenge house. It's hit or miss. You know what I mean?
It's funny that you say that, because they were literally talking about that on that Johnny Fairplay podcast, and they were saying about how you and like Davon and Swaggy C would be people that would be able to, cross kind of show type situation and be able to adapt. Whereas they literally were saying the same thing, where they don't think that the OG challenge players that have never been on one of those other shows, or Big Brother specifically, would be able to adapt in the same way. And so that's why I kind of wanted to.
They have no idea. These people on the challenge, they can't go more than a week without drinking. I mean, sorry, not a week. They can't go more than a day without drinking alcohol. And in the Big Brother house, you're not given alcohol. So they would lose their minds. And in the challenge house, you go out twice a week.
Right.
And you get phone calls once a week. In the Big Brother house, you get none of that.
Right.
And none of these challenges would last. That's what, like, people don't understand is, like, I wreak havoc on these challengers mentally in the game, because they all, after like a week, start like whining and complaining, and they're just like, oh, it's so bad. I need a drink. I need to go out. I need to do this. Blah blah blah. And I'm just like, yeah, we're getting paid to compete. Like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's that level. that level of mental toughness that you got to have that they don't really understand, because they're kind of babied in that sense.
Yeah, they wouldn't make it through sequester, which is that time period before you go into the house, like where you're just locked in the hotel room.
Yeah.
No TV, no nothing.
Damn, really?
You literally are counting, clouds to pass the time. Like, you can bring books and read. They could give you like DVDs to watch on like a little tiny portable DVD thing, but you literally that's it. You're locked away, sequestered, and they would not make it past that.
Yeah. Well, I've said it before. I got to say it again. I still got to get back and give the challenge another watch because I've been slacking on that. You know, there's just so much to watch. I was telling you before we started. I've been watching the Ultimate Fighter all the seasons just to, you know,
Yeah.
anything to get your mindset in like the active, you know, kick some ass type of, you know, motivation style is what
Oh,
I
yeah.
need. And you know, I just wanted to really get your opinion on you know, the All Stars, see what the deal is with the, you know, where you've been at with the challenge, and you know, just kind of, you know, dive into the fitness thing a little bit. And it seems like we covered pretty much everything. Anything else upcoming that you can just kind of mention before we close out?
Not that I can talk about right now, but everybody will see in due time.
All right, cool. Um, on that note, I'm excited for whatever that might be. Really appreciate you taking the time out again. You know, I guess Zoom gave me extra time because they knew I had an important guest. I don't have a premium account, so I don't know why I'm still able to record, but just wanted to thank you for coming on here. And hopefully, you know, once all the quarantine is over and, you know, you're back in New York at some point, maybe we can get you back in the studio. But
for sure, man.
Appreciate you coming on here, and keep in touch, man. And hey, what's David Goggins say? Stay hard, motherfucker.
Stay hard, baby. Stay hard.
All right, dude. All right, dude. Have a good one, all right?
You too.